You would sooner.
You know, I don't think I
You'd
could.
have to deal with me. Yeah. No,
Backdoors going on.
Ace X is squaring airport 2 diamonds here. 5K and CG. The big. Wheel backdoor clubs.
I like this from Mr. Chu. Could raise as well.
Here we go. Holding. Opportunities abound. Quick checks. The third queen will lead both players. 8. The 3 ladies. Let's see whether or not. Share this one. Making an attempt. Answer is no. The card station.
Look through it.
Big hand.
You need to fight.
Oh, that's I was just getting good bluff, I guess.
Sure.
I had a good hand. Always.
Manages to get himself into some of the more bizarre conversations.
Sean is the best, Ollie.
He really is.
Shoe hopping in.
You know, responsible for the hop.
Welcome, Mr. Whitmire. He's in as well. 3 ways.
Opportunity to observe creations from him. Way a fair 19,000 in the middle, and it comes 10-9-5 top pair for Chuck Chu, the best of what's around, as he knuckles over to the pre-flop aggressor. Along with Brandon. He checks back, and now a third 10 for Chuck.
Relegating everybody dead. Whether he cuts any action or not is another story.
In the affair. Chu his way back up to starting stack depth.
It's 15,000.
I think. Goalie.
Oh, the buy.
Yeah, well, I was it took me a while.
Well, we don't usually play 50.
15 points.
Yeah, I was thinking.
God, he's like the holdem, to be honest.
15. Very holdem from Tony Trong here out of the cutoff with this A6. And then Chuck Chu direct left on the puck. Off. And when you have a smaller delegation at any of these stops, sometimes I the booth question, and I don't know for a fact whether or not there's some familiarity between the compatriots.
Well, Chuck Chu's about to get familiar with Whitmire, and I know what you mean, Ollie.
Maybe a local room that
Sure.
they played in. They both discussed coming out to Jeju kind of thing, and it's not playing a role in the 3-bet, but no matter. As 50K, the declaration from Brandon Whitmire, who has 1.4 million in career terms beyond Triton's borders. Never stop. The first 4-bet. That one 3-bet. Observed out of that seat.
Oh, the buy.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, it took me a while.
Maybe have all those.
Well, we don't usually play 50.
If you were talking about that. He's saying I beat anything. Becomes irrelevant.
Yeah, I was thinking, God, he's like the holdem, to be honest.
Very holdem from Tony Trong here out of the cutoff with this A6. And then Chuck Chu direct left on the puck. Off. Espresso martini is not to be bad.
No. No, of course, much love if you're staying up. First of all, it is somewhat to be bad-mouthed if you're a grown man. Fair enough.
Listen to yourself.
Fair enough, but at a speak. But is it?
Maybe it was.
Oh, it is still, I believe.
He wasn't.
Insulted. I don't think he was insulted. Most would be, but
He took it. If the broad backdoor fades, that's backdoor.
Mr.
Did he just or so? Stream was it games stream at one point?
With the big wave of water.
Was no, it's
We're
not.
near
It was
the end.
really the wave. Yeah. Yeah. Casey. Yes. Alias. Is brought Poker Stake, the official staking part series. It's the ultimate platform staking for professional poker players on the globe. With no fees on any, this Poker Stake is go to anybody looking. Ready and celebrate the sports. Today, stake. Beards. Sevens are functional. Take Page 6 right here. It's there. Alias. Was the action? Razor, but just board.
Or 4 5. That's very. This one. Yeah.
It flat. This let's check. This X.
Give Whitmire. So. Is extremely critical. Here. Everybody. You showed a little wrinkle there. Let's first.
Learn the game. It's just,
You go.
no, I mean, you want, you're being humble. So that,
No. I really wasn't. Welcoming yourself to the. Just don't learn on the fly. I'm really am.
right. The key of it is very much of the
Really didn't.
take it, see it find it being a little bit more comfortable, more upfront than the
Close enough.
yeah stages. Still playing it
Who's on? To be clear, way it's
no T.
But as I was saying, for those unfamiliar, the TRITON is one of the best apps for anything, let alone poker.
Really, the
And
depth
they
of
didn't,
it is
didn't ask. Incredible. Real time up. His turn. And it's-
they rolled through this way. Wings.
Right on.
Так, на ради инсталла я заменю. Пример.
Connector. The ace jack.
Добавим.
The bail.
Very much. Continue. Very pesky. Beer agrees. League.
Was safe. Exchange.
Oh,
Smack. Trips. What's the red problems for you?
Да, от стрита там не уйти.
Ever head. Blind.
Стрит флэш, блядь, собрал. Все зависло, все.
Oh my goodness, though, this third 9 on the river and improbable of scenarios as the Kings getting
Bizarre.
Не вовремя.
Takes a moment.
Блядь, вот этот стол мне больше. Чё с ним? Блядь, с нацем
Shows
завис.
this up. No, you want.
Ах, господи. А, выбросил,
was a
ладно.
bit
See,
Хорошо.
he could care less. Hero acknowledged.
negative.
Не
I don't know that
выпустил.
any acknowledged it to be. You just, guys, I hit sevens. At sevens full on the dust.
Да, жесткая раздача на тритоне сейчас. Full house, full house.
Here we go. What was the big here?
Десятки запушен.
Who said this? The bear? It's through.
Наша. Супер.
What's this?
Here. Little. All right. Here it is. Well.
This drop.
Objectively, like,
Orange green.
it's a, to go for
I was. That is interesting.
six. That's it.
Чел решил с восьмерками упороться. Трошки.
The card.
Looking at Magic. Well, little
Somebody yeah, play with.
given eight. Now his present.
Decision. Position. Because put it lovely.
What's the here the kings were
The kings of a few. It's a bit interesting. Open 3 comes with cold. Oh, again, I not necessarily believe. Way Bravos.
associated. Side.
So, go.
No, that it is voided.
Wait.
Hearing
Че это с девятками в чё проиграл? Свали. Блин, а чё тут могут и восьмерки быть, нет?
Not
What I pretty well.
It's mine.
Very, those hands really do tilt. They now 30.
Say that.
It's those are the kinds.
I don't
Just
wanna
the
say bizarre.
should have happened.
Yes.
But yeah, when somebody takes the road very
Like
I don't berate
misclick
anybody, but misclick
and
that
then just
punishes
shout
you.
super huge and
That's
you're
right.
like, what's that?
Oh,
I'm not cleaned upon Dane. Versus on
does thou ocean curiosity boil
Шестерки забирает чел. Видно. Шестерку надо было выбить.
yeah.
seven suited really didn't work out.
No. Able to
Stay there, Seth. I could. It really is this.
just snap.
It's tricky. Not the Danish.
So
А, не виброшу.
he's a bit breathless out there right now. I don't know. He's boiling beneath the surface, listening. He doesn't blow and yellow turn.
There.
Uh-oh.
Big slip. Wrong with it? We're good. Hold it. That's
Поделили.
Anyway, they're
А
heckling.
тут что? Тут ничего. Вылетели.
a while. They are. You're great with turn up gas, but I mean, you go for it. We do have a snap. Yeah. Good luck, gentlemen. You're in all sorts.
Smirk.
За.
No, it's eight.
And a night. We're about for. About the
No, but didn't get
easy to always get you when you just.
Так, что мне 3 турнира осталось?
Well, he's going Mike off.
That's
Да, нужно по-другому сделать.
super tilt.
The chop. Yes, sir.
Король в тузов отлетел. С тритона.
You're my from having more some of the exchange. That these guys are
Understood.
not included in this.
We might be over.
This company there in the middle. Just
Я какой-то странный рейс сделал сейчас. Нечаянно. Так, фон надо закрыть. Что-то. Хотелось заколить, но не буду. Это надо горячие клавиши поставить, на одну кнопку переключать сцену.
Let's see.
Who's that doing?
А, там не
JNT is a
получится
great
тогда.
play. Really come into his own. The colors and looking at a bit of a grind. Or did he put the wrong?
Haven't. Very much spirit.
And took out.
Здорово. Да я, может, вечером еще зайду, я ж тебе писал. Ты написал, что вечером дома будешь. Можем вечером еще зайти вдвоем поиграть. Я вон TRITON смотрю еще, там Avrora играет. Правда, его что-то показывают редко. А, ты дома уже? Ну, залетай тогда. Ну, я, в принципе, 2 турнира только. Ой, 3 осталось у меня. Наверное, уже нет смысла куда-то залетать. Поздняя регистрация, вот если только на баунти за 3.21 и Daily Big за 3. У меня просто в этом, в Телеграме оповещения отключены. Я не видел, что ты написал.
Where you go from there. Crazy. Yes. On this trip already, it's begun. By the way, we have some poor time.
Так, но мы старше. Надеюсь, выиграем. Блять, бубуху надо. Отлично. Ой-ой-ой, Алын туз дама, туз король на тритоне. Дедуля поехал. Вылетел дедуля. Не, я не буду музыку включать, я же смотрю тритон. У меня, да, у меня остался. Долларов 50 еще есть. Давай, залетай. Три стола у меня. Вот Азия, Дели Биг и Баунти. За трешку вот остался. Грузил 6 столов у меня было. За 2 доллара. За турнирные вылетел. За 2 баунти. Какой-то был типа гипера. И еще какой-то. Тоже за 2 что ли. Ну, дорогие остались по 3 доллара, скажем так. Нормально. Если в Азию отберусь, тоже круто будет. Нет, Тритон вообще топ, ебать, как тут играют. Конечно, отличается игра, тут даже 3 бета другие. 3 бет, допустим, в глубине 100 ББ, они не рейзят, допустим, ты там 2 зашел блайнда, они не 3 бетят 8. Там 7-6 3 бетят, по-другому играют. Но это в оффлайне, я думаю. Почему, с чем это связано, не знаю. Понимаю. Вот это сейчас жесть будет. Сет троек собрал. Под 2 дамы. Навряд ли он выбросит. А там еще и король. Хотя, если король на доске есть шанс откачать. Гринвуд сильный игрок. Постоянно на тритоне играет. Она на работе. Ну, хочешь, напишу ей, скажу привет. Вчера хотел танки постримить, но меня выгнали с комнаты, она спать уже хотела. Ну что-то интернет сегодня лагает.
position probing. Yes, thoughts like this are relating to. He does have the quarter that.
А, дама сбросил.
Really
Молодец.
sad.
Короля. Ё-моё. Сет королей, сет троек. Вот это жесть. А, нет, фулл хаус. У него же фулл хаус теперь. Ебать, тут вообще нереально отскочить.
Is now decided. River. Quite small. But I forgot. Let's tolerate.
Да, очень интересная раздача. О,
And the 6 on the end.
Еп.
Runner, king's full. Seth got
Это
lead
жесть.
as
Это просто эту
there
раздачу надо
downs
просто
the set.
записывать.
The deck giveth them
Короче, ривером
this run.
фулл хаус доехал, типа.
Joyous.
Блять, зачем это? Офигеть. Фулл хаус против фулл хауса. Ривером доехал. Шестерка, король 6. Просто нечто.
It's the check raise. We'll see the bad news. Who wins? Old run.
А, ну они до Алына не дошли. Офигеть. Давай, хорошо, спасибо. Так, до Азии, блин, 4 места осталось. Сейчас кто-нибудь вылетит, будет шикарно. Да, ну и раздачка на тритоне, конечно. На какой минуте было? Я прям это, ну, типа, запишу.
See it. Bravo. Evo try.
М. Блин, а как посмотреть, когда это было по времени?
Go ahead, Ali.
Трансляция началась 4 часа назад.
Oh, yeah.
Так, это
Three
будет
bet for
4 часа. Это в районе 4 часов, надо сказать. Я запомнил. Да, там с фулл-хаусами жесткий, конечно, замес был. Я чихнуть хочу.
It is that color.
It's the
Так, мне нужно 28 место занять.
close.
Good job. Here. Special.
Так, ну королей я не выброшу, надо
Figure
пушить.
at least. Really
Hard to find. It's three.
despair.
Going very
Yeah.
nice. Big well. Go, go
Dawn.
on. I'll like. Coaching.
Back experiment.
They're doing it. Oh,
Про кого он говорит? Russian fan. А, Кепки, это кто у нас? Антин Маслак? Это не знаю. Кто это вообще?
Tries to go.
Ну, я в этой кепке его, по-моему, видел уже где-то. В Сочи, что ли, он играл?
Russians are a great game. Also, nation, but there is something in the water. It just three bet here.
Doesn't get playing. So,
Так, я на паузу ставлю. Микрофон просто отключу пока.
stage you after this.
Так, семерки. Семерки, семерочки. Подходим. Да, ну, туалет можно было выбить, конечно. Я почему-то думал, что он слоуплеит флеш свой. Почему-то мне так показалось. Блин, никто не вылетает, смотри, что. Иду окно закроем. Стоит ли мне туалет пушить? Сложно сказать. Но я думаю, надо. Ну, вылечу, так вылечу. Просто я не досижу с 2.8. Да. Понял. О, Алексей. Розыгрыш. Дамы тоже толкнул. Ну, вроде не должен никто колить, если только прям с нацем, с тузами, с королями. Леха, давай тащи. Лоб хороший, блин. Единственное, что он чекнул, странно как. Мне кажется, тут можно было. Все, я прошел. Я даже думал, испугался, я вылетел. На Азию прошел, все. Так, можно тогда столы по-другому сделать сейчас. Сейчас.
Back. Reduce the
Все, уехало куда-то. Уехало, поехало. Окей.
Does shut.
Так, чекаем. Так, а Азия когда будет? А, через 51 минуту. Блин, а я думал, она вечером будет. Ладно, придется сыграть. Блин, 162 тысячи в банке.
Didn't appear. But
Хороший, хороший.
really the
Ни хрена у него шляпа. Петросян. 113 ББ. Хорош. У Бравкова сколько в Лехе? Кажет, интересно. Так, ну десятки запушим. Russian Federation. Russian Federation. Артур Петросян. Да, никто не вколил. Только. Хренася 3 бет 6-5 сьют. Нормально пацаны рубятся.
Pairing one off, Marty Rosian, that is.
Picking up the backdoor diamond draw.
Так, Мартиросяну флеш-дро.
To continuation.
То вообще ни в чем не попал.
Be an impossibility if the 10 of diamonds busy. We can see.
Джеффи или Джеффи, как правильно?
Rosie and a winner at showdown. Know it, of course.
A little bit interesting. The Jack does sometimes just win and check lines, but it's a little bit scary to just check jack high. To lose to a queen would be just. Goes for 32 into 34. Take it, sir. Very nice.
Just giving himself some assurances that no showdown would be necessary to haul this one in, and doing so successfully. There's Martirosian there as Chappie's woes kind of continue on the day, but undaunted, you know, he'll fight on.
Martirosian's a really great player, obviously a legendary player. Fantastic table presence. Really top notch, just as far as looking the same all the time and not giving much away.
He popped into Vegas, as I recall, and got involved in.
He did. I played with him for a few weeks, kind of for the first time. We had crossed paths a bit. He has a real presence.
Made an impression.
No Dalman Fu. Go on, sir. 6 duck.
Oh, brace yourself.
I've already been braced from some sweating, but I will.
I mean,
You're
Dow,
familiar with the stylings of Dao,
oh,
Ali?
yes, very much so. He came upon the scene in Vietnam, actually. Took down an event there. Local legend, hometown.
Perhaps no nation has had more of an imprint on No Limit than Vietnam. Or just poker in general. Vietnamese players are absolutely legendary.
Absolutely.
Top
Johnny-
air for down.
Это как они
Johnny
говорят.
Razor fan.
We could go
Win,
all
Scotty
day.
Win,
Absolutely.
go on and on.
And then
Federation,
as far as the cash
Federation.
game side of things, there's a whole slew of just
Tuan Lee.
oh, the deuce does slide in for Dao Min. Not slide in, as usually that's a positive connotation,
Right.
but it appears. 38 in the middle.
Now, Elias having check called the 7K C-bet on the flop and faced the check back on the turn here quite comfortably, one would imagine, will be seeking some value out of the mix of ace highs into this 38.
Over
Oh,
there.
comes with 40 into 38 here, Nick, and this could very well be a function of perhaps some scouting reports or just very astute.
Maybe some of that, but I think it's more what you were touching upon, that after check turn, he just feels his hand is worth the full pot. And it's logical. And for Dao Min, we beat things like 7-10, Jack 7, so on. He's reaching Ali. Very nice from Darren, 40. Quite a
Yeah.
meaty sizing with just 9s and 8s with a 6. Well done.
Frustrating, of course, to have connected with the deuce for Dow, as I think he was really charting a course for a shutdown prior to that moment there. And nice from Elias, as you mentioned. Certainly not the first nor last time those words will be crossing our lips while observing his operations. Off. Queen unsuited. Under the gun. Fantastic stylings on Frederick Thiemann, by the way. This is a man who
Frederick looks good, Ali.
he's dressed like a tactician out there. A surgical sort of approach to the game would be my perception. Ace queen flat.
And note the squeeze from Martirosian.
Sifting the flower with a 3-bet to 36,000.
This one feels highly back jammable for Frederick. It certainly comes to mind, and Martirosian's reputation precedes him. Was this kid built in a lab? Look at this
Non-zero
kid.
chance. Beakers may have been involved. Yeah. As you suspected, Nick.
And for Martirosian, it's
Yeah.
we think about it for a
Don't
moment,
put that
but
up.
it doesn't feel like King Queen off is enough. He's gone.
Let's cast our eyes upon the other of our two featured tables. David Alessandro under the gun.
Welcome, Mr.
Ну,
Vogelsang.
японец какой-то.
Oh, look at Kazuyuki Tanemura. You want to talk about style and flavor? We've got our front runner of the festival so far. This
О,
find a bass guitar over there, and the look is
Ты
just
тоже.
complete.
No,
Ладно.
he looks
Бля,
incredible.
Пипец он мне нравится, не знаю.
He's
почему.
Welcome,
Suited.
Santos, by the way. Steve O'Dwyer, legend. Leon Stern, fantastic player. And a couple of James.
This open will have questions asked of it, presumably, and there it is. Stern, the 3-bet from the button to 28. Announcement made. Table for two, 66 in the middle, a threatening combo to the jacks in Tanemura's possession. The bet and lead. No longer resting with him, and top set on the cleanest of boards here for Stern, holding the deck. Hang on a moment. One cannot fault Sturm in a situation such as this for looking to get to a turn and provide an opportunity for one's opponent when we're holding so much of the deck to find themselves in trouble, but the trouble they find themselves in includes the nut flush draw. 17,000 here. How do we best proceed with upset at this point?
I think he often, if not always, goes for call.
Agreements?
See if Tanemura can hit the hard, Ali.
Diamonds failing to deliver the necessary improvements.
Let's go for 32.
Third
Блин, что это? Король 10 упустил. Лёгся.
Stir. It's time with this one, although unclear what quotient of this is posturing and what is actual deliberations may be coming up with the sizing.
Well, it just goes in. He only has a 3 times the bet raise. I think it was a bit of posturing, and it's just sort of how he goes about his business.
Fair play.
Take it, sir.
All goes in and it all comes back along with newfound friends. This is always what we have in mind when entering battle. Christoph Vogelsang,
Love watching Christoph play.
high stakes legend. You know, a lot of times, I
Не
think at this point,
получилось. Давай
many of
еще.
his
Didn't snap. Fold, that is.
we have the opportunity, let's focus up on Santosh. 5.4 million roughly in career Triton earnings across 14 caches. Joined us in Monaco, added 3 caches, 1 final table, that coming in the 125k main, where he picked up 1.7 and change. Does have 1 title coming back 2023, Cyprus. Six suited now for 20 Tron. Just upstairs and now of the Lithuanian delegation. Us Timbolas.
I forgot he's Lithuanian. Indeed, a member of the contingent. Very tough player. We see some of the fight right off the bat.
Have some reps under your belt against
I played
Matas?
quite a lot with Matas.
Cyber Streets, live, tournament cash, all the
Everything, yeah.
above?
Okay. Okay.
Flexing from the button here.
And for Tony with a suited ace. Here we go.
Hanging in there. Has been quite snug. Just from observations. Premature, perhaps. To designate, but with the data available. Looking at a guy who's not looking to get himself into weeds. Where this ace-6 of clubs finds itself on a king-jack-3 board. Matas with the betting lead. Barrels and observes.
Take it, sir.
Full exchange on that occasion. Back over to the other feature now. Matas, by the way, first timer. Table we just left. Right, super high roller series in spite of all the experience under his belt, as you alluded to. Fedor holds, I spy, to the right of DMP.
Welcome, sir.
Jack suited. There we go.
Believe it will be going in. Jaffe.
8,000 back. 2 in the small. Is much hand for Elias to release, so
Good luck, gentlemen.
in comes the call. 67 in the middle. Great development here for Jaffe. 7-3, no diamond. Backdoor equity on the turn, just queen or a 10. The hearts won't work any longer. The ace of diamonds.
No early storm out from Jaffe, but it is indeed time to go.
Registration's still open, of course. I think in an event such as this, where the records are breaking, the prize pool is swelling,
Tough not to
It is.
keep firing at the record-breaking Triton.
one doesn't take their seat initially with the thought that they're playing a 30, 45, or 60K event. Of course, if the value's there, you know,
Повезло мне
he has the
сейчас с
sort of
тритом.
confidence required to believe in himself enough to go as deep
Артур
as he's needed.
Матеросян на
That's
втором
right.
месте.
Imagine he'll be back in the mix not long from now. He and company
Федор Холец, 52
left
ББ.
behind.
Чип-лидер Минфу.
Beneficiary,
Правильно
342,000 and change now in front of him. Cheat counts brought to you by Bet ACI.
Почему мне остальных не показывают? Мне вот, допустим, у Лехи, у Авроры интересно, сколько ББ.
Was Artur asking the man or telling him? Because it definitely could have been either. Dealer.
There was just a tiny inflection implying it was a question, but it was very,
You know,
very.
I can see what the blinds are. I'm telling you, we play 2-4. Okay, that's what we're gonna do.
Defend from holes.
Interference.
Oh, he's in the small
Here.
blind, rather. Excuse me, Min Fu in the big. 3 ways to the flop.
5, 6 of hearts, and Fedor's ace 8. Very good. Draw. Checks in front of Mustafa, who's kind of, you know, he's gotten out there a little bit. Open-ended, an understandable follow-through barrel of 10K upon the 8 that he opened the pot with.
And for Fedor, this seems either way. Call a lot, maybe raise sometimes. He's gone. What did he?
Absolutely shocked at that particular decision. Nick, are you?
I was surprised with the gut shot to the straight flush. But multi-way and sometimes drawing to the lone 7 of hearts from time to time and not closing the action. Obviously, just weighed on Fedor.
Far be it from me, certainly, to ever question.
You can always question, though, Ollie.
Yeah,
You're
but
not. You're
genuinely.
not saying. You're
Yeah.
questioning, not in a way
know, I suspect oftentimes in those moments which come genuinely from this side of the booth that mine is not the only temple being scratched. You know, from the
One of our favorite things to witness always is purveyors of No Limit is when an all-time great does something you wouldn't do, and then off you go exploring. You know, it's one of my favorite things to see a hand played in a way I wouldn't have played it by somebody who, you know, I deem great.
One of my favorite expressions, I think, that sometimes comes tethered to those moments from you is collecting. His hand.
Ну, Хольц С2 поймал. Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой. Дарин Эльс не отскочит, походу, тут. Две пары поймал туз 2. Тащу.
Quite a lot. 50.
Просто заколил. Да хорош. Интересно. Хольц мог и зарейзить, выиграть. Корешка.
No. So he's responsible for decided.
Jake.
here. It's 10,000. Jeez. Go down. Plus, but Chatty is to table.
Интересно, русскоязычного стрима по Тритону нет?
Sort of. It's that style. You know
Пока
what I
еще
mean? Like,
поищу.
if this dude, you don't even
Good morning.
Что-то нету. Наверное, там авторские права на них. Хрен постримишь. Заблочат. Ну, вот эту Ди Алессандро я первый раз вообще вижу. Хотя нет, что-то лицо знакомое тоже. Где-то я его видел. Индус вот это, как он, Суварна, правильно? Антош. Это уже не первый раз вижу.
peek at the
Ну, я болею за троих. Наверное, буду за Алексея болею. Ну, в любом случае, за наших Алексея, за Мартиросяна. И за Дуайера, наверное. Я посмотрим. Да, за Дуайера, наверное, буду болеть. Ну, это Маза сильный игрок. Я не помню, кто, по-моему, про него говорил, что он очень хорош.
Okay.
Да, на Тритоне интересно блайнда. Ну, типа у них сейчас 2500, 5000 и анте 5000. То есть сходу в банке 12,5 тысяч. Сколько получается? 2,5 блайнда сразу. Ну да. Этот японец Танамура интересный игрок вообще. Я его раньше нигде не видел.
Bring us into vortex.
О, Леон поймался от пятерок. А, и Япошка тоже поймал.
Term. Is un- off the- not
Почему они с сетами чекают, когда на доске, блин, флешдрот? Же опасно.
speak.
Причем и по пикам, и по крестям флешдро. А, ну вот, нормально. Натера не запихал хоть. Треть банк, хотя бы так. А то сидят с сетами, блядь, обои сидят чекают, что за хрень. Я, может, что-то не понимаю. Матиус надо выкидывать. То
Get it for
sometimes.
Oh, look, raised a bit this.
Блин, ну вот сейчас флеш закроется. Будет жопа.
Does put
Да. Большую раздачу проиграл. Ну ладно.
Is it?
the 33. I see.
Does it? Obviously. Doesn't. This is thing that or
So, bit of a gash there.
Пойдем.
I'm going to take the over on bit of as D'Alessandro, when the dust settles, will be left with just 8,500 in chips. Shaman O'Dwyer. Heard from?
Strong looks intrigued, although you never know. Good fold as it stands.
Suited wheel ace for Matas. We know how these hands like to behave. But against under the gun even?
Sometimes.
There it is. $33,000. O'Dwyer. raised the ace-king as a flat, Nick. Not something that we see all that often.
What's your ideas, Ali?
And he does flop the ace along with Matas, and let's see how much trouble this ace-5 of spades will get itself into here.
And one reason to slow play ace-king is the one that we're looking at. It's common for the three-better to have an ace with an inferior kicker, and when this situation arises, of course it's a dynamite development.
Sure.
It doesn't mean one always slow plays. Nice check from Modest, by the way. Drawing dead now.
Top 2 for O'Dwyer, the developments. 3 to Broadway, not leaving him.
And a quite nice second check from O'Dwyer. Nope, Modest is drawing dead. He may have called a bet from O'Dwyer, although even on turn, it's possible Matas would have already been indifferent. Does check it once more.
And now a board pairing queen, taking Matas's kicker up from a 5 to a king.
Excellent point, Ali.
Making it that much more difficult, perhaps, for him to escape. In the face of an O'Dwyer bet, by the way, which is not necessarily a given.
I think at this point it's somewhat given, although you might be right.
In comes 22K.
And it feels on the strength of that shared kicker you were alluding to. Very difficult for Modest to do anything but this. We'll see the bad news, Ali.
I'll tell you what, though, the 2 checkbacks on flop and turn
Nicely
as a
done.
pre-flop 3-better, you know,
Nicely done.
sometimes when we are losing pots, we can take comfort in the idea that we lost considerably less than we may have otherwise, courtesy of some sound decision-making. And for O'Dwyer, perhaps a little bit of meat left on the bone. Unclear. Not a critique, just... Love that shot, by the way. Coming in through the Hall of Champions. Final table introductions take place. The players walking down the corridor of LEDs. And Sturm taking a walk into battle here. Under the gun, black aces.
Sturm really is such a great player. Obviously, we would all raise these aces, but
Right, we're not alluding to black aces under the gun being the reasoning behind that comment. And phenomenally young, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Nick, I mean like early 20s.
very young. Santosh is in. And it's a rough start for Mr. Suvarna.
When you said Santosh was in, you neglected to add the word trouble to the end of that sentence, which is certainly apropos of this King 9-5 flop. Backdoor spades, of course, could find a deuce or king, but as it stands, Sturm has him by the throat. Half pot. Suvarna, of course, making the call, failing to improve on the turn as the pot grows to 60.
Not an ideal card for Leon to see. We still feel good, but no longer great, I suppose.
Jacks and king queens a part of the small blind flatting range, one would imagine.
That's right, Ali. And of course the Jack-10 looms. And for Santos, this is highly dicey with kings and a deuce. But still top pair against such a capable and wily young German he's in.
Blank river. No, it's backdoor hearts, forgive me.
136 in the middle, Santos with just south of pot to play. Checks it over to Leon.
Do we get that greedy? We don't get not greedy at all there as Sturm shuts it down and Santos able to get a showdown free of charge on that river.
An interesting spot on the end. I was surprised at the speed with which he checked. Not necessarily the check that seemed to loom, but did seem a bit close. Take it, sir.
And with that, we flip back over to our other collection of combatants. Itachung, ace deuce up front. In the bin, Fazel Dawood, top 10 chip stack. Ace 10, we saw him ride sevens to glory against queens on an ace high board earlier during our coverage. That's what sort of put him on our radar. Mustafov coming along now. Big blind defense, yielding middle pair on a king high board. More than we can say for ace high as Dawood c-bets. Mustafov peels and makes trips on the turn. Dawood drawing dead. And no induction from Fahreddin as he leads for 14,000. You know, interestingly, I think it's a bit of an antiquated concept, but once upon a time, the check call lead line did pique our curiosity as looking weak, and here Dawood perceiving it in that way, raising to 55,000, thinking if you had the 7, why would you risk losing me? And this playing out perfectly for Mustafov.
There you go, Ali. Perhaps you and Dawood are on the same page here, and indeed it's playing out perfectly for Mustafov.
Does play it as a flat. Oh, it makes quads on the end. And let's see if Dawood is all done with this one. This doesn't feel like the kind of card where the ambitions will be rewarded, and this is an exercise in futility as he fires 70,000 into the quads. Mustafov with a peek back just to verify, hoping that he's up against pocket kings, aces.
Does it get any sweeter than this for Mustafov?
I mean, you know,
The very rare, just stress-free scenario.
All in.
displeasure. Certainly the sentiments percolating now for Dawood.
Displeasure and perhaps visions of 5-6 of clubs and other hands that we beat. But just ace-10, we would think this one is a wrap.
The check jam from the 5-6. Such a specific spot. Obviously he beats it, but not convinced that's the nature of posture taken on by Mustafov here, and as we could see, it was indeed quads. So a healthy pickup there for Mustafov, propelling him up the leaderboard. Dethroning Dawood in the process. Pocket kings now for Russia's Artur Martirosyan.
Shades are on.
If you do. Queen 9 suited in the big, defendable, of course. Additional 6K deposited. And top pair on this dry board, backdoor diamonds, a problem for the time being for Chung.
A little bit dire for Chung, sub 20 bigs. Perhaps amongst the nines that we check raise at this depth, we're more inclined to raise the ones without a backdoor, although maybe in the weeds, possibly not even true. All nines are raisable sub 20 for the most part.
Chung agrees. And this check raise here to 26,000 leaves Martirosyan with options.
It does. A call keeps an eye on something like 7-8. But again, fairly shallow, does go in. Good luck, gentlemen.
Yeah, Yita always prepared in this event. Minds had been made up. And now he is left with just 5 outs twice here at his first ever Triton Super High Roller Series event. Help needed with 200K in the middle. Turn fails to deliver. Concern worn upon his face.
GG,
One of
sir.
his 5 outs, not worn upon the board. Yes.
Apologies, by the way, Ali, but what level is this? It's got to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
close.
Yeah, we're getting there, but it is still open.
Maybe we'll see you again. Oh, my.
Kings full of nines. The
This-
development on this river for Tony Trong. Efforting the path here, it was Matas raising to 10,000. David D'Alessandro went all in with this ace-8. Suvarna flatted. Trong then flatted. Matas flatted. On the ace-king-king flop, Trong would check his trip kings. Matas would actually bet, holding the deck just 10K. Trong would then check raise to 25K. Mind you, this was on the side. As Suvarna got out of the way, Matas flatted. Queen on the turn. Tony would check call a bet of 60K. And here we are at the river. And as you can see, Trong has decided to lead
All in.
for 55K. There's the jam.
It's a touch deflating if you're in Tony's seat. Not all boats are the same. On a board such as this, of course, no real getting away, but we can see it's on his mind. He's using all his time banks. Bravo, sir. That's a nice start.
I mean, the ace-king on the order of freighter, while suddenly in the face of the jam, Trong dealing with more of a tugboat.
That's right, Ali.
Belching diesel all over the harbor, and in a bad way. His king's full of nines.
Ace king.
And Trong just decides so much in there. Let me take a peek, and I wonder, without the 9, I think exits may have been a possibility there for Trong more so, but just once he filled up, there was that sense. So a double knockout here for Matas Simbolas. And the product of that double knockout is a massive
Did he
infusion
use
of
2?
chips. Efforting the final tally.
Go on, Modest.
Look at Vogel saying, I mean, just hasn't really been in the mix much at all. I'm going to tell you right now, if those sunglasses that Tanamura is wearing are available anywhere on this property, I'm gonna pay a visit to that boutique.
I hear that.
You know what I mean?
I do.
So it's 626,000 now in front of Matas. Yes, he stands alone atop the chip counts here and amongst the chip leaders overall. Tanamura and Suvarna neck and neck at the bottom as we play 2,500, 5,000. Those chip counts brought to you by Poker Stake. Updates to the overall chip leaders in the field. Welcome Phil Nagy as he's announced himself second overall with 697,000 and change in front of him.
Well, that is even more fortunate.
A possibility.
How it goes, I guess. Yeah, at that point, even your bluffs are doing well against his hand as like.
11 to go from Santos.
Seven is a bad card to hold if you're Matas, although newly minted, he's happy to get in the mix. A 5 was a nice one in the window, but none of those straight draws materializing behind it. Just the naked ace high for Suvarna, but he doesn't waste any time c-betting, and
Easy
nor
game.
does Matas check folding. You know, as we are creeping up on the end of the re-entry period, you know, a sense of...
А мне микрофон отключен был.
Certainly in this table,
Элька.
you know what I mean? Not the business end of things quite yet, but record-breaking prize pool in terms of a Triton event, 15K.
Yeah, you're right. You
Is
know,
on our
and
hands.
as the tournament progresses, it does feel a bit loftier in the air, and it's just how it goes.
And even those who may not necessarily be privy to the variables that are creating said loft can kind of pick up on things as others retreat into kind of their own lab and begin to dig in
I like
a
that,
bit
Ali.
more.
Another ace king for O'Dwyer suited.
Так, Адвайр, я за него болеем. Будем смотреть.
microphone is actually perched on Vogel's left eye right now, which is not
Indeed, it is.
particularly ideal. It almost looked like a scope of sorts.
Yeah. He's in.
Understandable defense. Seldom does he go under the hood without proceeding. Oh, and he's got trouble on the horizon. Second pair up against top pair. Dry board. Christoph checking over. You know, Dwyer, man, who's not afraid to check back.
Да, Влад отобрался, играя в Азию.
Strong hands on boards that don't seem to be of concern.
Да, меня обязательно выводить. Я, в принципе, могу вывести, наверное, маленького себя.
For Vogel, it's already quite annoying against this size. We would likely prefer an 8 with a lower kicker. One in between the 5 and the 8, certainly, or even
Мы куда-нибудь себя
backdoor
определим.
of some kind, so on. But he does fight the good fight.
Подожди, а как это сделать? Что я не пойму.
Pot growing.
Мгм.
5, just not one of those cards that's going to dismiss 10-8.
And
А, мне
against
надо
check
поверх
big
всех
bet
окон, наверное,
call,
сделать.
this is very much Christoph's card. He might
Ну, она
go for
поверх
the
окна.
tickle.
Block bet lead.
He might go for a block bet lead just on the strength of this really being his card. But his particular hand is kind of just relaxing.
Где-то вот
So
сюда,
let's
что ли,
see.
получается?
One question he's asking himself, he does go for the check. And for O'Dwyer, he checks as well, Ollie.
Pot control. The approach.
Короче, не знаю, как камеру выводить.
Rate to be of much concern. Obviously, the 6-7s are there.
В принципе, ну, в плане я знаю, как камеру выводить, не знаю, как ее на...
You can see, not present.
Когда экран стримишь, как вывести.
I could see going for something like 10% pot or just check. From my vantage point, not certain. He does go for the latter. And for Steve, let's see what size he goes for.
There's your
Essentially
answer.
goes for 110%, just south.
And this is sort of nice, Nick, insofar as it makes up for any potentially lost value on the turn when it does get called, and also kind of has that polarity which could pique the interest of the 10-8.
I like all of that, Ollie. Very nice.
Yeah. Vogel. Respecting.
Спасибо, Влад.
Короче,
Короче, камеру я не знаю, как вывести. Хотя до этого как-то получилось, сейчас она опять куда-то исчезла.
Mustafov and company deuces the opener. Martirosian flatting the 10-8 suited on the button, and now Elias mulling with the hard 8.
Где вот она? Куда она исчезла? Вот она, где-то здесь.
Nice. Alexander Tkatsu comes along, flops himself top pair, top kicker, and has Martirosian in pain.
Ладно, попробую заново добавить.
3 checks in front of Artur. One would not blame him for sprinkling here.
You see the steeliness, right, Ali?
Oh, 100%. I've borne witness to this image for
X.
several stops as Arthur seldom, if ever, misses a
Давайте вот
trap.
сюда. Оп.
There's not much that's going to happen with Felt in front of him that's going to leave Arthur, you know, jostled.
And it's a little bit interesting for Alexander.
Попробую так, не
Without
знаю.
closing
Видно
the
будет. или нет.
action. Does go for call. And tens and eights slide in gloriously for Martirosian, Ali.
Quite the opposite in terms of Alexander's perspective.
Так, тузы пришли мне.
Already
Это
delivered
хорошо.
to arrive at this point.
Кто там чихает кто-то. Давай ты еще подколь.
He goes
Я
for
утроюсь.
55,
Будет
and this
очень
is
круто.
highly annoying if we're in Alexander's seat. We fall to the stuff we clearly fall to.
О, пошла возня. Девятки. Угу. Все, я понял. Вопросов не имею.
Lest we forget, Martirosian did bet into 3 opponents on the flop, so we have to be a bit shook, but he does continue.
Вчерашний день
Arthur's
продолжается.
reputation precedes him.
Are the inferior 10 X's, one of which obviously would have made queens and tens on the end here, a part of the equation still on the turn? The Jack 10, Queen 10, King 10s?
I don't know about Jack 10 and Queen 10 for that matter, but King 10 certainly seems possible. Maybe the ones you mentioned, or a more interactive type 10 with backups,
10 9s, sort of
even
thing,
suited.
Right.
Once again, we're going to be on 366 next time now. If the play is the completion of this level, you're going to have a 45.
Note the SPR.
Да кто ж там так чихает-то?
Back end of the 55
А,
to
это
size
комментатор.
Martirosian left
Будь здоров,
in front of
комментатор.
Alexander sub 1.
For me, observing Arthur, I don't want to say the best part of his game, but something he does
Александр
incredibly well
Ткачев.
is stack people. And I don't mean that in a flippant way.
No, no.
He's very good at driving all the chips into the pot when he has the best hand.
He charts a sound course.
He charts
in
a
that
sound
sense.
course, but he also, and this one somewhat played itself, so I'm not saying this is an example of that, but because he's so active and such, he's a hard guy to fold to. And when he does have it, his sizing schemes and patterns are really nice. Does he get away or did he pay it off?
The
I believe
fold.
he got away, Ali. Very nice.
Yeah.
Bravo, sir.
Not before sustaining a couple of blows to the tune of 13 and 55,000 respectively, however, as Martirosian ascends to 647,000.
Что у меня по аутам? Девятки, короли. Блин.
Three and 6K. The blinds now.
Ничего не доехал, к сожалению. Ну ладно.
Fedor going
Конечно,
to
нормальную
take the
раздачу
in terms of
сыграл.
whatever that message was that was delivered. I don't think it's that well with him. Was it no drinks that he thought he was told there? He's like, timeout. I don't know if that's going to happen.
And on the heels of that good fold, instantly rewarded.
With a raise in front of him, no less. The black aces.
And he will be finding himself with a customer, Ali.
It would seem at this price, another 23K. Elias is not going to be going anywhere. Still some runway between the two of them, is there? No. Forgive me, it was just the button in the small. So Elias does hang in
Oh.
and flops himself a heart draw. Deuce 3-5, providing to catch you with a wheel draw.
It
Not
is
that he needs it.
seemingly just going in now. I would think Alexander bets small, and Darren jams most
Что,
of the
переедут
time.
тузов
you
или
would
нет,
think.
интересно.
Well,
Call does seem possible as well. It's not preordained, but I think it often just goes in.
playing 109 effective, coming into this street.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Yep. As you predicted, in it goes, and the threats to the black aces are very real, and they come in the form of hearts. Elias looking to dispatch the German here. Turn stays safe for the aces. As does the river. So then, as you touched upon, Nick, the immediate rewards of having had the restraint not to call and shower himself against
It can be a very
Martirosyan.
cold game, but it does seem the gods, at least it feels that way. When we make a nice fold, often the gods reward us.
And we reward you with not one but 2 feature tables of coverage. So while the accounting is done at Camp Elias, we flip back over to our other feature,
Welcome, sir. We have a new face.
Wyron Poo.
Right away, slightly cuspy for Pooh.
Да, чуть мне на Азии не идет вообще. Мог сейчас упороться. Скочил.
Ace Jack for Vogel. Sounds off to the tune of 12,000. The min raise.
За флоп бы зацепиться.
Mucked, but the fives
На блеф далеко не уедешь.
on the button. Different posture out of Suvarna.
Пятерки затребетил.
Christoph leaning over for a peek at the stack depth. He is
And
covered.
This is a little bit interesting for Christoph. I could see him just kind of not believing Santosh, for lack of a better, and living with this ace-jack in the form of an all-in. And for Santosh, often these are low-frequency lines that nobody really takes, but they're real lines to 3-bet 5s and 6s, and then just call it off if they jam. It's Christoph goes for call. It's nice to see a kind of road less traveled, if you will.
Sure.
87 in the middle.
Так, заколил, да, он 3-бет, получается? 100 лет.
Vogel decide to take the flop for the extra 24. And a Broadway gutty is produced as Suvarna looks up at 3 overs. Christoph checks over with the flow of play. Now we await Santosh's response. Not going to get gun shy here, but also not coming with the large caliber ammunition. 18,000.
Certainly no going
Чел
corner.
забаррикадировался вообще. Чтобы вообще эмоций никаких не было видно. Пришел на очки.
Question is to what extent.
Шарф какой-то. Не жарко ему так сидеть.
See a turn.
Extra 36 into the middle brings us to 123 in the pot. And this is a nice card for the 5.
Ну, десятка нейтральная карта.
Santosh eagerly awaiting Christoph's decision. There it is. And Santosh, undeterred by that check call, let alone the call of the 3-bet, barreling once more. Nick, are you with this?
Really great instincts from Santos. Note Christoph has 36% equity, so it's
Интересно, Кристоф будет колить?
see a 6 king.
Ну, небольшую поставил, в принципе, у него. Может и заколить.
Really nice.
Там, наверное, даже не треть, а четверть банка.
Let's see. Fair enough. Bravo, Santos. Best hand, but bravo.
Is the board pairing more of a deterrent to proceeding with that straight draw and obviously the ace-jack in and of
At
itself?
that point, he would
Так, ну семерки вот подъехали, запушим семерочку.
large 40% of his stack. And yes, we prefer to draw to straights when the board is unpaired, always as an evergreen concept, but
Just more firm. Yeah. As well. It's definitely interesting. So
The golden splendor that will be passed
More grip.
to our eventual champion, and a good bit of runway stands between now and that
I'm not really sure
point.
how to describe the difference, but
Just given the sheer volume of entries.
yeah, you
223 of
think
them
it's
in
a big
total
difference.
as it stands. And counting, no doubt.
yeah, no, but it's a different type.
Ну,
It's
по
more
вальту
like a
Крист.
soccer ball
Опять.
ish.
Now,
jacks for
jack
Christoph now.
Different than a soccer ball. What can I compare it to? Bit like volleyball, but
Weight is same weight.
no, it's heavier.
Блин, туз. Плохо, походу, я вылетел.
Yeah, so we get more control, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, good changes. I like it. And it's higher.
And this one likely will
Yeah,
not
we,
work out as
longer
gloriously
rallies,
as the
I
last
guess.
one for Santos.
Пятерочка нужна.
Kinda getting. I mean, you got into it rather quickly when we started playing.
Ну, я думаю, у него туз есть.
pocket tens in a world of hurt and 3-betting once more. This script
Мое, что ли? Опа.
just as the one before
На
it this
халяву
far,
14 ББ забрал. Да мы живем. Еще как.
with the exception of the fact that instead of eights
Что у
for
меня там?
Jack,
3 блайнда
it is
было?
Jack
Или 3,
for
8, что ли?
holdem, and instead of
Круто.
fives, it is tens for Suvarna. So in comes the jam.
Really huge.
Suvarna
Опа. Алын.
snaps and is pipped.
Which is, I guess, why Jeffy didn't
Mercy
bring
of the
it
deck.
out the pack.
We shall see.
Что, он заколил с десятками или нет?
So say he didn't bring it here?
No, he didn't. But they have 2 sets from Prime once a week. But it's always one opposite.
А, ну да, заколил. Ну, почему не показывает в графике так долго?
217 in the middle.
Дама.
And 6 tray.
Ну, десятки только спасают 2 аута.
clear
Стоят
this far.
вольты? Я думаю, стоят.
Remains that way on the turn, and just one of two black tens left to fade for Vogel to secure a double through Suvarna, and he's done so.
Go on, Christoph.
You know, he hasn't really gotten much going on the outing thus far, certainly here at this feature, but making the most, you know, minimizing damage, maximizing gains. A bit of a cooler, obviously. Nothing fancy was required here, but
Know what you mean, though, Ali.
facts remain. You familiar with your saints, Nick? Do you know who Saint Morta is? I'll
Not
let you-
familiar with that.
let you chew on that one as we take a moment to remind you that bet ACR is ready
Да,
to
было бы
go.
интересно и другой
Your
стол, чтобы
sports betting
показывали
needs.
тоже.
See all
Что-то
new
вообще не показывают.
BetACR.eu and exclusive
До этого
upper
хотя бы
prediction
переключали на
for
раздачи
players
интересные.
An outcome in Triton events. Receive a 15% bonus up to $250 on your first top up. Join now.
Стейки могли бы
Start
показать.
engaging with the
Причем
sporting
не
world
только
today.
первых там 10 игроков.
I mean, being able to bet on Triton.
Но всех бы показали, было бы интересно посмотреть.
These things, but for those eligible, producer James
Оп,
feverishly
погнал.
grinding the bet ACR
Значит, парень в игре.
Triton options just offset. I kid. He's not doing this.
Yeah.
It's actually unclear what he is doing most of the time. If I'm honest, you know,
Gonna ease into the producer James Needles. I need a few days. I know. You guys go way back.
Так, не доехал.
generally,
Отлично.
if we can't find them, just following one's nose to the closest plate of food is a safe place to locate the Labrador.
Same goes for you, my friend.
You
Heads
know
up.
I can put it away.
All Broadway cards.
Matas defending the big.
В Азии так раздавали.
Vogel putting the new chips
Что-то у
away.
меня тут совсем все плохо.
Dusty board.
С того, что раздали, все выиграл. Без десятками там нереально было. Хорошо отскочил.
Are we more inclined to take this sort of texture and just comfortably c-bet in the hopes that we can take it down here and now?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Блин, что-то прям
For the
заколить
question,
хочется.
Ron.
Что у него там?
The Ducks are the least connected
Я,
card.
наверное, заколем.
So when we're the aggressive range, we like seeing Ducks appear against the big blind. Even though they do
Ну,
show
поделить,
up
по
with the
идее,
duck
должен.
from time to time, it's still the
Без
least
пик.
connected with card.
But it also just seems like it's such an evident board texture to fire at, and the big blind retains, you know, the deuce X, 6X far more than we do.
But
That, you know,
but proportionally, they still have a lot of nothing.
yeah, of course.
And they lack deuce X because they lack offsuit deuce X.
Я
and
надеюсь, что
why
там нет
it
троек
scales,
просто.
The lower the card, the less offsuit
With the
they
pressure
have
of having a
the
suited
respective
iteration.
card.
yes.
That's right.
Mhm.
Whereas something like an 8, when a couple of 8s show up, now you have to really start checking sometimes and be wary. But the deuces, they
Right.
have trips far less. Dawood out. Fedor as well.
What do you suppose the annual Gucci spend is for Martirosian, by the way? I mean, it's not an insignificant amount as we see the ace-king suited go to work. We're talking about a real drain on the roll.
And it is going in here.
Опа, интересно. Тут король вольты.
Could be a drain on Martirosian's chips as well if
Right.
Elias is
There's
jacked.
Росян
also
зарейзал.
involvement from the blinds, excuse me, but... And I would say Archer is about 50 a year. Sweatsuits, hats. I'll take how many colors you have. Okay,
Что с
just
девятками-то
take-
делать? Наверное,
I'll take C.
выброшенная.
And this is dire for both if they're looking to avoid gambling, but
No, by
they're
the way,
not. So
pocket fives and I believe it was ace 10 off. Both found
Gone.
the muck. Promptly.
Просто колитесь, я не могу позволить all-in идти опасно.
Certainly well served
Ребята
to have done
сидят
so,
опасно.
given what we're staring at here.
Good luck,
And
gentlemen.
now Marta Rosa
Вальты плюс,
piles
наверное, бы я
eyes,
запушил.
makes the call.
Так,
They're
all-in.
off to the races. 376.
Ну, Мартиросяна нормально, он покрывает.
this is one if you're in Darren's seat, you just really want
Даррен,
one of
конечно,
those
удвоиться
late
может.
evening rebuys when you fight all day, or you know.
Yeah, and that 200 doesn't have the depth it did early in the
Так,
day
дама.
That's right.
when they deliver
Good
it to
start
you.
for Darren.
Yeah, no ace, no king, no heart. These are all positive developments. Remember, it was a Jack-10 suited that Darren failed to make the flush with. It
Marta
doubled
Rojan's
up.
scary
Так, тут
in these spots.
тузы и короли только спасают. Росяна. Ну нет, на ривере четверка.
Darren's scary in these spots too.
Даррен удвоился.
Board kept clean. And Elias is all right with it. Finding
Так, ну вот вальты буду откалывать вот от этих ребят, от всех. Вот этот, вот этот, вот этот.
The lady
На
evening
пуш.
double is very sweet.
Although I hesitate to say late evening, there's a little bit left in the tank
Of
for these
course,
guys.
but
So, you know, they're
late,
gonna have to dig, but-
late-ish. The sweetest, and it's a very rare one in tournaments, is doubling the last hand of the night,
Oh,
or the last hand before dinner.
last hand before dinner will wet your beak.
Last hand
That's,
before dinner
that's
is
a way to get the appetite nice and lathered.
Ну да, не очень приятная карта для меня.
nice and lathered, he says. It's true.
Хорошо, что так все закончилось.
Sophisticate's timepiece, by the way, on Holtz. You know what I mean? Like
Holtz
this
has
is-
been rocking that specific watch for a while.
But you know what I mean? Like people out here stunting, looking for something
I know what you mean.
contemporary. He's going classic.
Understated.
This might even be an antique, limited.
I
You know,
know.
something that an auction house he picked up.
I know what you're saying, Ali.
DMP, the King Queen.
Alexander in on the button.
NP,
Speculating.
Рейзел.
Dean interested from the small, he's in.
And that leaves the nicest of prices for the A7 offsuit of Fazel.
Так, 3 человека в раздаче уже. Фазл тоже заколил. Я просмотрел, как Фазл набил себе стек. У него тут достаточно маленький стек был. Да, он камбэкнулся. Я, по-моему, с туз 10 он раздачу проиграл такую серьезную.
Two overs in the gutter for DMP. He does decline to c-bet in the four-way affair. Closing the action with a check back is Alexander. And the turn keeps things clean as the eights are still in front. Note, however, that Mustafov has picked up the spade draw. Mustafov's just going to lead into the field here. 9 into 54. This is not a size that's going to send
Ну,
DMP
вальта
back
попали.
into the
Some of these
8,000.
ideas are cool. It's we want to see the river,
Лошина
so
на
we
платье,
sort
я
of set
думаю.
our own price as opposed to check calling 30 or what have you. Winner for DMP as far as the card rank, but will he be allowed to win? We shall see.
Want to see the river, but prefer to see it in the form of a spade. And
Я
when
до
he
туалета
does,
отойду. Сейчас пойду.
we're left to get after it. And into 72 comes 22.
This is nice from Mustafov.
Milky. Yeah.
Very nicely done there.
You know, I've watched Mustafov beyond the borders of Triton as well, out in North Cyprus at Merritt doing his thing. I believe that was where he was first exposed to the Triton Super High Roller Series when we paid a visit to the property. And now, obviously, traveling to join us.
Welcome, sir.
And, you know, runs with the Bulgarians, there's more than a few of them out there that are, you know,
Sure.
posing problems to folks in these big fields. More, says the German. Ace-Jack suited, the responsible
Whoa.
party.
Oh,
Well,
pardon me. That is Alexander's hand. For a moment, I thought it was released by a player behind, but this makes more sense. Fedor's in.
On the adhesive side, in the big, is Holtz. Unclear how familiar these two are with one another under the same banner here. And this is a pretty dynamite board for Ace-Jack suited. Failure to connect in the form of a pair, but how about a two-way straight draw and the nut flush draw, never mind position in the betting lead.
And for Fedor with the king of clubs, let's see. Goes for 10 into 33.
Чуть смотрю, у меня камера исчезла.
And he is check raising on the strength of the king of clubs, interfering with jack 8,
нет,
king
на
jack,
месте.
king queen. And for Alexander, his hand is so incredible, he might just want to call. Keep an eye on 6 of clubs, 7. Not sure that's the one, but things like we're looking at. But one can't really fault putting more chips in,
Yeah,
and
he
he does
jammed
just
it.
jam, and that's a winner.
You just know that you have equity at all times here. Unclear just how much, but enough to feel cozy about jamming and not putting any pressure on yourself.
Так,
After having
Ткачев
a
забрал
crucial
банк,
betting
да?
lead to a check raiser to improve, you know,
Fair
and these are the upshots. As we flip back over, Matas, Queen 8 suited open, and an Ace-Jack off. That which Tanamura is going to dig in with. Jamming, 41-5, and Suvarna
Опа.
wakes up with aces. We have seen a tremendous number of
Тузы
big blind
подъехали.
pairs delivered to the
А,
doorsteps.
там Алын. Ну, он
Feels like it
по-любому
has
колить
been a bit
будет.
disproportionate.
Kings, aces, queens, lots of jacks. I mean,
Попробую выбить.
Suvarna
Тройки я не
plays
выбью,
all
пятерку
here,
какую-то
Nick.
могу выбить.
Extending a lot of rope, Ali.
We've also just seen a lot of the willingness
План капкан удался.
to not look to get it all in pre-flop out of the big pairs too. Just kind of let's
Походу японец
see if we can't
улетает.
get 3
А мне
streets
нравилось за ним
instead.
смотреть. Матис точно выбросит.
And Tanamura will see that it's
Сейчас 2 вольта на флопе.
fire, Ali.
Yeah, pretty sad to be shown aces when you have ace-jack. The light flickers. Oh, no, hang on. The ace of spades and the jack both hard at work here.
Can't ask for much more.
Real sweats, 13% equity. And the king gets rid of the backdoor spades, but one of 2 red jacks lingering, but not arriving. As that will polish off Tanamura's bullet. Sad to see him go. I feel like we didn't really get too much of a chance to see him work his
Жалко
way into
япошку.
deep streets and play
Sure,
a
we'll
lot
be
of
crossing
pots.
paths with
Не
him
особо
over
мы
the next
раздавали.
couple of weeks.
Just visually speaking, I certainly hope so. With all that swag, bring that man to the feature every time. And also just opportunities maybe to get more and more familiarized with the newcomers to the Triton Super High Roller Series. Another argument in favor of tapping a Tanamura table for some featured action.
Hear that, Ollie?
Not all of the newcomers, of course, are new to poker. In fact, I would venture to guess that very few of them are. Sort of getting your feet wet at these stakes, a rarity, but not impossible, we've observed.
Вальты подъехали. Интересно. Что мне тут делать? Почему он отколил? Потому что у него тузы.
Quick defense from Martirosian.
Dominating Fazel. Stepping out a little bit in the cutoff with this Queen 4 suited. Not a look I think we've seen too much of from him.
Блин, дамы, короли, тузы я бы запихал. Я почему-то подумал, что он так заманивает. А, ну и хорошо, что я выбросил.
Two overs, open ender. Snap check back from Fazel.
So much interaction for Martirosian. The double flush cards and the aforementioned. Looks like 25.
The gutter's no good if it gets there.
Так, пауза.
Flash the queen.
I would think. Might have been the 4, though. To
That's
just
the
say,
marketing budget there.
Подойду.
Marketing, but also like, I'm not making some big fold to you, buddy.
Right.
You know?
Oh, I hear you on that. It's just pocket
Yeah,
fours.
I don't believe you,
know,
but
yeah.
I just have a 4. Unclear.
Also unclear what it is that Martirosian's been grinding for the better part of 45 minutes on a plate back beside him. Not sure we've got the overhead shot. By the way, my first foray into the restaurant here, just beside the set. Reviews are positive.
Oh, good, Ali.
I went with the Korean bulgogi and the steam rice. I feel like I went in South Korea sort of.
Well, that's great, Ali.
choice there.
We're all happy you enjoyed it.
Maybe somebody needs a hot take. You know what I mean? It's early in the festival. They're listening to the stream. What do I order? Ladies and gents, the bulgogi was solid.
I will say on my end, I love Korean food.
Korean barbecue is legendary.
Fedor's in.
And this time, Dawood finding himself the dominant party.
Crabs for Dao Min Fu. And he's seeing what's what.
I give you DMP. On the button, a 3-better instead of a set minor in the form of a flat for just the min raise.
This is interesting. Can go a few different directions.
Ого. Тройки за 3 бетил. Интересно.
Well, he was caressing the white chips, then went time bank.
You know, we've not been privy to all of the exchanges at any given feature table as we focus on one, not on the other at any given time. So unclear what data points Dawood has in terms of DMP's activity.
It's a very good point, Ali. He's gone, and for Fedor, starting with 21 bigs, he's in.
He's danced with DMP before. The scouting report is definitely in. Not afraid to blow the pot. Is DMP. As Fedor hangs tough. Hunts a king or a jack, and there's the king of spades right in the middle.
Oh, and DMP snap jams. This is awkward for Fedor in the face of the snap jam. And it's a spot that we've
Прикольную
seen
линию выбрал.
many times today where we
Сразу
can
показывает,
find
что у меня
hands we
сильное.
beat, but we don't necessarily think
После
about
3-бета
threes
смотрит
or
сильно, на
fours
самом
in a
деле.
line like this. We think about queen jack, queen 10,
Если Хольц заколет,
maybe a little bit of
круто.
other stuff, but
No, we're blocking the queen jack, jack 10.
Against, indeed we are, good point. Against ambitious, creative players, though, one has to assign a certain percentage of just odd kind of hands. Not even saying this might be great from DMP. We shall see. Weird spot for Fedor.
Indeed. By the way, credit to him, he's not just auto-mucking in the face of this lunacy, but rather chewing on it a little bit.
Да выбросить, наверное.
The hands that he beats. In come the time banks as
Блин, ну в банке уже 300 первым тут.
protracted.
Он затрибейтил с тройками. Ну, выглядит очень сильно. Прям очень сильно выглядит. Заколился.
He does put it in.
I mean, listen,
He'll see
this
the
is
great news.
this is a fairly heroic stand being taken by Fedor, is it not? Am I making too much of it?
This is nice from Fedor. No, I agree. It's
Не
it's
поверил,
not
что у него
so
тут
simple to call off 18 bigs.
I mean, my first instinct, without question, is to simply give a man credit and bow out, and instead a lovely king on the turn, obviously irrelevant in terms of Fedor's concerns, only being with the deck not delivering a 3 to the
Тройка
board.
по-прежнему живая. Блин, что у них там с микрофонами? Такие бабки им платят этим комментаторам.
Safe run out.
Один чихает, сидит через раз. Второй скрипит микрофоном постоянно.
Aces and not a great note on which to wrap
Лучше
up
с нашим бы
this
заключили
ninth
контракт.
level of play.
Кто у нас вот Сочи комментирует?
Jeju Island. One level of re-entry still remaining as you get a last look at the chip counts.
Ну покажите
Across the
остальных,
seven players
остальных
brought to you by
покажите
Poker
тоже.
Steak. Holtz now level with Alexander. Elias also level with DMP, who's trending in the wrong direction. Martirosian there in third. Dawood and then Mustafov up top at 646K as we bring you back to the
Спасибо.
breakfast here at the Landing Casino at
Офигенно.
Shinhua World here in Jeju. Ali Najad and Nick Schulman ready to hand things off and pass the torch. But before we do, just some thoughts on these first 3 frames of play that we presided over. Any themes that you saw emerging? Any players that caught your interest per se? I know it's a bit early still.
Borikov caught my interest very early. I remember that check raise he made against Dvoris on King 7 10 10, I believe. 3 spades. I like that one. He had King 7. He defended the blind.
Right.
That was a cool one.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, no doubt about that. And
There were a
obviously-
lot of little lines and maneuvers that's how it always is in a spot like this, but to be on the call for the biggest Triton ever has been really exciting. and,
Yeah,
I've
no
enjoyed
question
it,
about
Ali.
that. And we will leave things with Seth Gottlieb in the chip lead, 1.15 million in front of
Go
Seth, the
on,
only
Seth.
7-figure stack at present right now in the field. And Phil Nagy, how about that? 948,000 in front of him. So then, Nick and I are going to bow out, but still plenty of coverage still to come of event number 1 here, this 15K. The torch is going to be passed to, drum roll, Will Jaffe and Brian Rast. We welcome them both to the booth. Certainly hope that you guys will deliver them a warm welcome as well. Stay close, about 10 minutes time. We'll pick things up with 2 new faces here in the booth. Until tomorrow, on behalf of Nick, Ali, we'll see you.
GG Poker. So many players. This is a crazy. It's a dude.
GG Poker
Broke the Guinness World Record.
Welcome to the World Series
It's the
of
best
Poker,
poker song,
main
the biggest
event.
poker site.
Larger than all of GG Poker. Traffic is all-time high. Jump, 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 jump.
Welcome to the Daily Dose of GTO Quiz of the Day. So you're playing a cash game, under the gun opens, and you defend your big blind. The flop is ace jack 4 all hearts, and you face a 1/3 pot sized bet. Which hand should you continue with most often? Jack 8 of spades, king queen of spades, 8-7 with the 8 of hearts, or pocket nines no heart? Find the answer in the Daily Dose of GTO, our free ebook designed to help you master GTO poker in just 5 minutes per day.
Introducing the all-new BetACR.eu, the premier destination for sports enthusiasts. What sets BetACR.eu apart is our exclusive offering of live-action prediction options on the TRITON series. Experience the excitement as you predict the action while watching your favorite players live. But that's not all. By opening your account now, you can take advantage of our incredible offer. Receive a generous 15% free play on your first top-up, up to $250. Become a part of BetACR.eu and elevate your live sports engagement experience.
Это часики. Стоит, небось, триллион. Что они делают?
Just sees the wonder. 제주 신화 world.
Ого.
He's just barely covered.
Погнали. Тузы, туз король, туз дама.
Ace queen off. We just saw this scenario from Orpin a moment
Это
ago.
другой столб. А что, дедуля реентрался, что ли? Опять он микрофоном шуршит.
He's going time bank. Fold and 4-bet seem on the table.
Word has come down, by the way, in the chat from C. O'Wheel that Mr. in Danish is herre.
That's what I'm saying. So
It is tricky. You're
that's
right.
Да,
I was gonna say
кулерок
herre,
раз, да.
like H-E-I-R, but I know that's German. Anyway,
Туз дама выкинул. Хорош.
Yes.
Молодец. Туз король не отскочит.
I want to say it's herre.
You're a wild man.
H-E-R-R-E.
Интересно, он будет
You
4
really are
бетить или
just
просто заколет?
something.
Что он будет?
Apologies, by the way, if I'm
No, you're great with
desecrating Danish.
pronunciation. I mean, at least you go for it, you know?
No, on the top.
We do
but
have
go
a
for it.
snap jam.
Yep.
Good luck, gentlemen. We're in all sorts of dire straits.
Was just a preordained sort of affair, and
Ace king? Queen. Ace queen.
a smirk. Also a measure of disgust there for.
Ой.
No, it's ace king, guys.
And a nice 4-bet from Hecklin, by the
No.
way. I know he has
Не
aces.
не
so of
отскочил,
course this
товарищ.
isn't so above the rim.
No, but didn't get cute.
It's easy to always get cute when you have aces, but sometimes we just get it in pre. What's
Right.
better than that?
Ну да, шансов мало.
Now, by the way, if somehow this ace king falls the
Well,
aces
he's going
here.
mic off.
That's what I'm saying.
Really like
Super tilting if you lose with the aces to the ace king. I don't know. Okay, it looks safe here.
got the duck
Десятка.
four working for the chop, but
Валет даму нужно. Все.
Take it all off the board.
Шанс.
No queen, no
GG,
jack.
sir. Perhaps we'll see you shortly.
No shot for Lear as a healthy pot is being bestowed upon Herre Hecklin. I think Lear might have paid 15,000 to be reseated. He's tired of watching Orpin soak it up.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get poker tournament stack in Macau, and I was like, all right, buddy, like. You say so.
Now, I don't want to put anybody on blast, so I won't.
Это у него за яйцо
I
лежит.
don't know where you go from there, but
No, listen.
Пытается.
another
As
ace
I'm
king for
observing
Yuan.
the
Yes?
massage therapists come in here, rumors swirling about 6-figure gratuities.
Опять дедуля сейчас размотается походу.
To multiple massage therapists.
My word, in
On
the
this
cash,
trip.
on this trip already.
On this trip already.
We've just begun.
That we have.
Опять
By the way,
вылетит
if one of
сейчас.
them registers, I think we're
By
going to
the
know
way,
who the
we have
recipients
some
were.
poor timing, and it's always awkward to hand one of the massage.
4 бет.
Perhaps the queen comes
С
in.
дама, ну такое себе.
Yuan peering over at JNT's remaining stack, and the jam comes in.
Ну, сейчас заколет и вылетит
JNT
опять.
didn't drop 75 of his 170 in there with the intention of stepping aside, and indeed, just for the sake of the massage.
Хотя все возможно.
situations, I-
Дам.
one
Никто
would
не отменял.
hope- let's say for a chop, obviously I'm not anti-sweating Li Yuan, but Lear to
Understood,
cut it short.
understood, Ollie. 353 in the middle. Good start for Yuan.
Spade coverage. Way the best of it. Now, opportunities as the board does pair. Sixer and eight
Китаец
with
сидит
the
уже,
trigger. Queen
улыбается.
is a clean winner. And instead, it is the 3. So
GG, sir. See you shortly.
Yes, yes.
see, this is where I look back at the massage therapist and I'm
Yes,
like,
yes.
Че, опять
what sort
пойдет?
of evil did you anoint me with
Камбэкаться.
just here? What? I'm kidding.
Энтри делать или нет?
Fedor holds, I spy, to the right of DMP.
Welcome, sir.
DMP? Я думал, все как его правильно читать.
Ace Jack suited. Elias, 9 to go.
Believe it will be going in from Jaffe.
78,000 back. 2 in the small. And there it is.
80? 79.5.
Я думаю, заколет.
Too much hand for Elias to release, so
Good luck, gentlemen.
in comes the call.
Он же тоже вылетал уже. Опять реентри наделал.
167 in the middle. Not a great development here for Jaffe. King 7-3, no diamond. No backdoor equity on the turn, just a queen or a 10. The hearts won't work any longer. And nor will the ace of diamonds as
No
Elias.
early storm out from Jaffe, but
No.
it is indeed time to go.
Registration's still open, of course. And I think in an event such as this, where the records are breaking, the prize pool is swelling, show us a little love if you like what you're observing, and help us to continue to deliver you the finest in streaming poker entertainment, all free of charge. Price is certainly right. Nickels for Sturm.
Неужели валят 9 3-бет этим будет? Не, просто заколил. Подколит.
10K gets flatted by Matas. D'Alessandro.
Тоже, наверное,
Likes it
защищать
on the
будет.
button, and here comes Tanemura with the 8-5 suited. So one of the
Он
five
тоже
players
ребай сделал.
elsewhere in the field.
Поинс.
Flop will
Улетал.
bring us
Not
into
the
focus
other
as
one.
again a case 5 shows up. Now mercifully the board
Это
textures are
пятерок.
such that we anticipate Kazuyuki's
А, да это
movement
показывали
is
раздачу.
possible.
Почему я ее второй раз смотрю?
The 9, however, for Matas.
Я эту видел
Starts things
раздачу?
off with a check.
Ничего не понимаю.
It is somewhat texturized in terms of those inside straight draws and the 2 spades out there. Sturm perhaps hoping somebody else would give him an opportunity for a check raise. Unclear. The club rolls off though, and now the wheel and nut flush draw for David.
Так. Это не то, значит. Сейчас.
But he's certainly trying to get a feel for.
Не может быть такого, что прям точь-в-точь раздача. Я же видел это. Странно очень.
Hello and welcome to the TRITON High Roller Series.
А, ну это повтор был, все,
I'm your
окей.
host, Will Jaffe. I'm thrilled to be here. This is my first TRITON.
Топлю сижу.
We've got big shoes to fill, so luckily I'm joined by the legend, 2-time Poker Player Championship winner, over $25 million in live earnings, Brian Rast. How's it going, Brian?
Doing great, Will, and I'm happy to be here after taking last year off. And I'm going to do this in the most polite way possible, but I actually won it 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Sorry
true.
about that, guys. 3-time Poker Player Championship winner. I think our producers gave me some bad info there, but yeah, we're here. This is a record-breaking event here in Jeju. Late Reg, I believe, is still open. Over 230 players, by far the biggest Triton field ever. You see them lined up out the door. I mean, it's super exciting. We've got some big stars, and by big stars, I mean Phil Ivey himself, the GOAT, my GOAT.
You know, when I was leaving here earlier, I was walking out. It was like after all the hoopla, the dragons that were dancing, and everyone was already in line. Obviously, a little bit late. Phil Ivey was just rolling up by himself. I'm going up the escalator. He's going down the escalator. Little pound. Good to see you, Phil. You know, I know him quite well from playing with him in Bobby's room and over the years. But he's here. He's just ready. The legend. He's doing it.
The legend, Phil Ivey, is back in action. He's at one of our feature tables. He's got about 600K. Our chip leader is Seth Gottlieb, over 1.1 million. I mean, we got a long way to go, but I think we're going to see some fireworks. We've got Phil Nagy at our other feature table, along with, I believe, Andrew Tang, Matt.
А где Алексей?
A lot of old names, a lot of new names.
Где Avrora?
When we get a field this big, we're going to get a lot of different people, a lot of people that you might not normally see at Triton, right? That's pretty cool. That's a good thing.
Yeah, how familiar are you with these players?
Я надеюсь, он не
Some of the
вылетел.
guys have
Telegram
been here
зайду
quite a
посмотрю.
bit, and I've either played with them or been in the booth and been watching them with commentary. So, you know, some of them a decent amount, and others I've never seen before. So, yeah.
Well, enough of us. Let's get you guys out to the action. Really stacked field, and
Ничего
let's
не
get into the
писал.
hands, and I
Значит,
think we're gonna
живой.
see some fireworks. We got Adrian Mateos right there with Ivy, and a lot of players I actually don't recognize. So it's going to be a mix.
That's an action-packed duo for sure, Mateos and Ivy. I mean, Mateos plays a lot of fun pots. That guy's a wizard. He's aggressive. He's fun to commentate.
Yeah, what more do you need, really? I see Justin Saliba there. He's got about 15 big blinds. So we got some short stacks. We got some deeper stacks. So when you play a big series like this, Brian, I'm curious, first event, what's your general game plan? Are you trying to pace yourself? Are you going all in? Like, where are you at mentally before the first tournament you play?
You know, I think
Утроил
one of
с
the important, like,
пятерками.
most of
Нормально.
the people that come here, they've traveled a long way. So you kind of want to come in, you don't want to be exhausted. So you wanted to make sure, whatever that means for you, if it's the day before, if it's 2 days before, you get in, deal with the jet lag. So at least maybe like the day you play, getting a workout. You kind of want to be in the right mindset. And I'd say you just want to come in. And personally, I think what you really want to do is just set like no expectations, right? I feel like expectations, it's like the Buddhist thing. You know, you attach to something and that leads to suffering. What you really want to do is just come in and just your expectation is that I'm gonna be focused every hand and try to play my best, and you know see what happens. And you know, and you can only really perform that way if you're well rested, ready to go in a good mindset. So.
Бля.
Speaking of good mindsets, Danny Tang, I believe he's
Обидно.
leading the Triton Player of the Year race. Just been on an absolute tear here. But don't sleep on Bucky Wantman. Bucky is, I think, one of the more underrated players out there. I don't know, a lot of people may not know about him, but we got a clash early on. Interesting spot. Justin Reyes is under the gun with ace-9. He's very short. Do you ever think about just flatting here with the kings, or?
Yeah, 8,000. He's got like 15 big blinds. You know, I probably don't do it very much with kings. I don't want to say cut off. I'm probably generally 3-betting kings, but I think aces it's a bit more standard. But kings, it's just you get called by a lot of weaker hands. I mean, we're talking 15 blinds. You get called by ace-jack, ace-queen, a bunch of pocket pairs. And some of the ace-X's that fold, you're denying a reasonable amount of equity when you end up, you know, when you shove and they fold like this one right here. So I think that's the standard play. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, when you're that short, I'm always enticed to just trap because it's so easy to get your stack in, you know, on any kind of flop or, you know. But these guys know what they're doing. I mean, Justin obviously is opening a tight range there, just had the sort of lower end of it, couldn't call off.
My guess is that's probably a thing sometimes at like some frequency in the big blind.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense in the big blind.
Because now you're ensuring heads up and keeping him in, as opposed to you flat there, you could get a 4-way pot, and then, I mean, whatever, it's not the end of the world, but.
Yeah, and the shove just looks so strong from the big blind when you can just call for, you know, really good odds. And this is Phil Nagy, ACR Poker CEO, on the button with the beautiful ace-queen of spades. I mean, how good does it feel to just look at this type of hand? You're on the button. Phil has a pretty wild image. Makes it 16,000. This is going to be a real tempting spot for Justin with anything. I mean, ace-4 doesn't look that good to you. Yep, there it goes. All in, and he's in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, I mean, he's so short, that play makes sense. Obviously, you're just kind of hoping you get folds there, but this is...
Yeah, he ain't getting one here.
Yeah.
Phil snaps him off. Unlucky for Justin.
Wow, he's claiming this one wasn't a slow roll.
I was actually going to warn you.
Justin wasn't here for that.
He didn't use a time bank, so I was thinking maybe not then.
Yeah, I actually used a time bank when I had aces.
Danny accused him of a slow roll there. That he did take a little while to call, you know?
He did. I didn't want to say anything, but it was like, okay.
Yeah, we would have never mentioned it had Danny not brought it up at the table, but Justin's going to need a lot of help. Only 3 4s left, 13%, needs to spike one or he's out of here.
Good luck. GG.
It's going to be GG for Justin.
Have a good one, brother. GG.
Another good up-and-coming player you haven't really seen on too many Tritons, looking to make a name here. Probably not going to be tonight.
Who's the next victim of the slow roll?
Do you know
I don't
when
think
did
you can get another one off today. I hope I can get plenty of them. Are you really claiming that wasn't a slow roll? No, it's I just had to. You want to double check and make sure how many chips he actually has, right? You know, it's take a second and look. Of course.
Danny.
He's kind of going
Plus,
after
I'm a little
Nagy
jet
here.
lagged, and I could make a horrible mistake and say, "Oh, he had 7 times the chips I thought he had."
Of course.
Phil claiming jet lag. I don't know. Maybe something personal there, but we got our first casualty of the day.
Everybody always has different standards for the quickness of play. Although I would side there that it's obviously when we see the stack sizes, it's beyond automatic. But yeah, you know, I mean, looking across the table at these red, white, and blue
Почему он
chip
наушник
stacks,
на
you know,
аватарке?
I don't know, maybe he forgot
Очень.
which is which, and you know, wasn't sure, and is like 200,000, 100,000, I don't know.
Can never be too careful, but
yeah,
we see why. Yeah. Okay, I was thinking Nagy was going to raise there with the 9-6 off, but
You got too many moves. I can't even keep track.
Shi Chun on the button with the Queen 3 off. Does this make it into the raising category here, Brian? Or
I'm pretty sure it doesn't. At least when it comes to what a GTO range would be, but you know, let's see who's in the blinds. Is he? Maybe he just likes being aggressive, or maybe he thinks that the blinds are extra tight, don't 3-bet enough.
I mean, it's Danny Tang in there, though. You know, it's
yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. Danny would qualify as that. Danny has a hand. He's definitely not folding to 2.5x.
a really pretty Jack 7 of clubs. Going to see a flop.
Well, there you go. Raise the Queen 3 off and get rewarded. I mean, yeah, the Queen 3 off is not even close to what a GTO Open would be. I'm pretty sure, but
yeah, but you never know why these guys are deviating. Maybe he has some reasons. And
За тройку
this is
зацепился.
about as good as it gets, right? For a flop. I mean, you got the Queen 3 off.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like just a little too.
Сейчас поставит, мне кажется.
Just the bet get it in, but
Да не
obviously
выкинет.
there's a ton of protection value there because
Давление
any
больше.
2 random cards are overcards that you get to fold. So, but you know, it's dicey. Danny actually has a hand he could check raise with here. Yeah, not compulsory by any stretch, but he just gives it up, which is also totally fine.
And I kind of feel like she put him in a spot with his sizing there, betting 25,000 on the flop. You kind of forced Danny
Он
to
большой
make a bigger
стек набил
size
там.
raise, which
700
would have
тысяч.
committed him more with his stack.
I mean, they had 200K, right?
100
Like,
блайндов.
you can make it like 60.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, it's fine. I mean, it's
О, Филави.
sizing that's totally
Показали.
fine with 8x, right? Because it's a spot where
Аллен пошел.
you're check raising a range that has a lot of bet folds in it. So
40 на 60.
Oh wow, here we go.
Yeah, we got Ivy action all in at our other table. He's all in for 500K, and Alex has called from the has called from the big blind with ace-8 of hearts. He's ahead. Can Ivy spike?
Ooh.
50. Ну там флеш, дро, там аут много.
A lot of
Yeah, it's basically a flip.
Едь там аут.
Yeah, the 10 popped out first, and it seemed like Ivy was way ahead. But yeah, he's the ace and the flush draw. But that's a brick, so now Ivy's a 3-1 favorite.
Ooh. Ace on the river and.
Блин, смотрю на Филави, он вообще не стареет.
Now, Brian, you see them at the table. They just make no emotional reaction, win or lose. But I feel like
Как он выглядел 15 лет назад, так и выглядит.
I mean, I think there've been a lot of guys who qualify for that, but yeah, Ivy's the most originator, maybe not, but like the most notable, right? As kind of the widely accepted.
О, девушка какая-то
that
играет.
was his MO and has always been his MO.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta wonder, like, does he care? You know, like it just seemed like that pot didn't matter to him in the slightest. Keep it all inside. What's really going on with Phil? I mean, it's such an honor to.
No, he definitely cares. He's
Speaking of caring, sorry, I gotta care about these ads. Get on GG Poker and qualify for the main event, the Road to Vegas. You can qualify from $1. Satellites running from the 1st of April to the 6th of June. Check out GG. Here's another beast, Adrian Mateos.
You know, so one of the things I want to just real briefly about Ivy.
Матеус мне этого игрока Барселоны напоминает. Бускетса.
Laser 113% focus. I think you see that a little bit more with young tournament guys now, but you go back 10, 20 years ago, there weren't as many guys who were just doing that. And that was his, like, Ivy shows up, doesn't talk to anybody, looking at everybody, every pot, staring down, not talking, seems like he doesn't care. But it was really the focus thing. And now it's a bit more common, but he's definitely the originator of that. Just nonstop, full bore, 100% of the time, 24/7, 365.
Yeah, you see that in a lot of the young guys. Just they're walking and like they don't see anything else going on. They're like in the matrix basically. You see them walking on break. Almost if you go up to them, you like shake them. You know what I mean? Because you break them out of this. Just I don't even know what genius dream world they're in, thinking about ranges and what type of bluffs they're gonna make.
Yeah, it's almost like, have you seen the new Dune movie?
No.
Like the Kwisatz Haderach, like they're actually seeing the potential hands they're about to play at the seeing, like, they're using the spice, they're seeing the future, and like the 5 eventual hands they're about to play and trying to figure out, you know, which range is most appropriate for the highest majority of those future hands.
Speaking of quiz odds, I think Axel Halle might be one.
Вази отлетел.
Call on the button after Monica Zukowicz raises the king 6 of hearts, and Adrian's got a suited king in the big blind, so multi-way here.
Here we go. Nice little 3-way pot.
Ладно, я там начало плохо сыграл. Сам до этого довел, потому что пришлось так колынить.
These are fun. I wouldn't be surprised if Axel takes this one down.
Yeah, he's got the nice little backdoor equity.
Мне нужна раздача, много залазил.
Is he going to be tempted to just stab at this? Hope his opponent's kind of whiffed.
I mean, it's a decent flop for him. I think Jack 9-5 rainbow, like from an equity perspective, and he might want to take advantage of Monica checking, and Adrian's got the big blind range. Yeah, all that makes a lot of sense. Axel Kwisatz did out, saw the future, and just stabbed at that one.
Yeah, check out Dune. This guy's in it. He's one of the main quiz ads. Just that future reading ability. He's not going to miss a spot like that. But we got Phil with another ace-queen suited. He's just rotating suits. And Danny with the big hand. Pocket nines.
Что, он с девятки all-in полетит, наверное? Или 3-бетить будет?
I mean, that's like just over 20 bigs.
Я думаю, all-in запихает.
Kind of early-ish position. What's he gonna do?
It's real tempting to
Даже с этим шестерок меня тут
It is a little tempting. Definitely.
переехали.
Yeah.
There he goes, and pocket fours can't really do much here, right? Just you're never really ahead.
Fours should be in the bin.
There they go. And Nagy has an interesting decision here. I mean, ace-queen suited's very strong, but how many worse hands is Danny ripping here, do you think?